Yeah, and it hurts you because the price he paid. And, remember, I don't know what his final contract was. I don't know how much money he made in his final year. Yeah, but, I mean, it wasn't probably like, I don't know, $3 million or something, $4 million. I forget what it is now. But anyway. Okay.
But by the way, McHale's last year, he made $3.5 million.
Yeah. How about that, huh?
How many seasons did he play?
Oh, I don't know, about 12, 13, something like that. Neither he or Bird, I mean, both he and Bird, their careers were cut so dramatically short. Like it just, boom. 87, there wasn't a healthy guy on that roster, not one. Bird's back was already starting up. He had some elbow injuries. Parrish had ankle problems. Ainge had ankle problems. McHale had the broken foot. Because I always argue, if they were healthy, that team might have been better because, of course, Walton only played like 6 games because he had the broken foot. He was never healthy. I would have argued if they were healthy in 87, they might have even been better than that 86 team, which only lost 1 game at home.
Well, he played 13 years. 12 years, Jackie. 12 years. You're right. He made less than $20 million in his career. Now, granted, okay, that was in the 80s and early 90s. I mean, that's obviously there's inflation, but. Well,
he also, he never had an agent near the end. He started negotiating his own contracts near the end. He didn't have an agent at the end of his career, and I don't know what that was about, but that's what he chose to do. I will tell you this. He's forgotten as one of the greatest power forwards, maybe the greatest power forward of all time. I know Tim Duncan. I know we can throw some other names in there, but I saw this dude. I saw what he did. He was unstoppable on the low post. He would make up moves every morning and then put him in the game that night. And he was also a great defensive player. And he doesn't care about the accolades. We've been trying to get him back here to Boston. We have a thing called the New England Sports Museum. We have an event every year called the Tradition, and we put people into the Hall of Fame there. We take one Patriot player, one Bruins player, one Celtic player. We cannot get Kevin McHale to come back and take this award. Now, Russell has done it. Kouzi's done it. Bird has done it. Dave Cowens has done it. Parrish. But we can't get Kevin McHale to come get this award because he's not being a jerk. He's not into that. He was never about his accolades or the attention. He just never was. He's one of my favorite athletes that I've ever covered.
Basketball Reference says his nickname was Black Hole. Is that?
That's funny. That's probably right.
Do you remember that?
Oh, sure. Because you know what? Because he hardly ever got the damn ball. Because
but he was a great
passer too.
What was he like? 6'10"? Is he 6'10"?
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
He's got such long arms.
Incredible arms.
So like one of the I've had some discussions with some guys about why the SkyHook isn't like we were talking about this the other day. Dirk's fadeaway, which a lot of guys are trying to imitate now, which is devastating because he's 7 foot tall and you can't bother the shot. But why no one has even really tried the SkyHook, which is just as devastating and theoretically much easier shot.
Right.
And the guys are like Jalen and Paul Pierce. Those guys were saying, Kareem's arms were so long,
right,
that it made it such an easy. Even big guys don't have arms that long. And Pierce was saying Kareem's hands were so big that he could manipulate the ball in such a way that he could catch it, pivot, and like shoot it. Like it was indefensible. He goes, just people don't. Even though everybody's got big hands, people can't manipulate the ball that way and control it, and so and they don't have arms that are so long that it's an easy motion and it doesn't take extra effort. And that's the thing. Like McHale had not only height, but he had super duper long arms that enabled him, I think, to I don't know. You would know better than me, Jackie. But,
well, he had a little hook, but he was much more. That's why they called him the Black Hole, because he'd get in the post, he'd turn, dipsy doodle, up and down, over this way. He could shoot with either hand. He'd get you off the ground. He'd absorb the contact and put it in. I mean, he had such an array of, and people always talked about Larry Bird, their famous stories, right? Him jogging around the seats of the old Boston Garden before games and getting there really early and doing all this extra work. Well, Kevin McHale did the same thing. He just did it quietly, and nobody ever saw him do it. And he didn't tell anybody, not that Larry told anybody about it either, but, Kevin McHale worked every bit as hard as Larry Bird. Now, the difference between the two of them, and I've said this 1,000 times, if Larry Bird, like Kevin McHale scored, like I forget the numbers, 56 one night or whatever, and I think Bird went up to have the game and said, you should have gotten 60, whatever. And then 2 days later, Bird scored 62. I mean, this is just what Bird would do. And so the comparison I always use, if there's a guy down on the ground and Bird's trying to bury him, so Bird's burying him, and the guy's on the ground and Bird's standing over him and he's got his foot on his throat. He's crushing that larynx. Kevin McHale's standing over the guy and say, you know what, buddy, you look like you've had enough. Let me help you up. That's the difference between the two of them.